H.H.B.B.Govinda Maharaj ki Jai! H.H.B.B.Govinda Maharaj ki Jai! Prabhupada ki Jai! Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai! Hare Krishna!
Hare Krishna!
Welcome to Toronto. Hare Krishna. It's nice to be back with everyone at Kishore's house again this year. And we're very pleased to be here. Just one point. Nam Kirtan was doing arti over here, and he was using this little tiny bell. And Srila Prabhupada came to Toronto in 1975, and he came in 1976. And in 1975, they took him to see the big temple, and he said, if you get this temple, it will be a great victory over Maya. And so one morning at Gerrard Street, he was giving Bhagavatam class. And I was supposed to do the morning arti. And so I was thinking, I shouldn't ring a bell loudly because it will disturb Prabhupada while he's giving class. So I grabbed a little tiny bell like this. And I was standing up there and I was doing arti. And sometimes I would like peek around and look at Prabhupada. And I had this little tiny bell. And then all of a sudden, I noticed Prabhupada was looking, and Prabhupada leaned off the Vyasa-san, and Satsvarup Maharaj was sitting next to him, and he asked Satsvarup Maharaj something. And then Satsvarup Maharaj turned to Brahmananda Maharaj, and he asked, oh yes. Prabhupada's question was, why is he using such small bell for arti? So he turned to Satsvarup Maharaj, why is he using such small bell for arti? And Satsvarup Maharaj turned to Brahmananda, why is he using such small bell for arti? And then Brahmananda turned to Jagadish and said, why is he using such small bell for arti? And then they turned to the temple president, well, one of the temple presidents, his name was Uttama, and said, "Why is he using such small bells for arti?" And Uttama looked up and said, "Because Prabhupada likes small bells." As soon as I saw the small bell, I remembered that. But it's a pleasure to be back. And we were just in the divine land of Sundar Chaitanya Maharaj, Mauritius. And it is winter time there now. And it's celestial. The winter time in Mauritius is, whenever I go to Mauritius, we reside on the western coast of Mauritius. And in the daytime, it goes up to about 27 degrees. And in the evening time, it goes down to about 20 degrees. So it's sort of celestial, especially when we were coming out of like 49 degrees temperature in Vrindavan, and 49 to 50 degrees temperature in Vrindavan. And in Mauritius, we've been having many different programs. They have nice centers there. They have one center that was open, one temple that was open 25 years ago, the Krishna Balaram Mandir. And they have many thousands of devotees in their congregation. And also there's a temple exactly in the middle of the island, which is called Phoenix Temple. And the devotees are working on building a very gorgeous and very huge temple over there. Actually, extremely huge temple. And all of the superstructure has been completed on that temple. Now they probably need about $5 million more just to decorate it. It's like massive. So those are the two main temples. And then we had a program the other night in a nice temple where they have Panchatattva deities. That was very beautiful. And they have another temple where they have deities called Rukmini Gorkadish. Those are very, very beautiful deities. And then we go for Namahatta programs, and the Namahatta programs will have maybe 400 people attending, you know. So it's, Krishna consciousness is very alive and very well in the country of Sundar Chaitanya Maharaj, because he's been preaching there forever. And now you have stolen him and brought him to Canada. But it's very, and the devotees there are very kind, they're very sweet, wonderful devotees. And now we've come here to be with you sweet, wonderful devotees.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Even though it's for a very short visit. We had such a wonderful time here last year. And early, sort of early in the calendar year, I was contacting Kishore Prabhu if the program was going to be on the 15th again this year, because he said he wanted to have it on the 15th every year. And because he was going through some health crisis problems with his father, he didn't get back straight away. And so I fixed up our Mauritius visit, but then when Kishore said, come, I couldn't resist. Because Kishore and Mataji
Is there a line? You want the battery?
Arnav, Arya, Radhesham, the program, all you devotees were so sweet last year. I said, even if I go for one day, you know, to be in the association of sweet, wonderful people like Kishore and Mataji, it is well worth it. And then I said, I must go to see Radha Gopinath also, and our Indresh Gaur agreed for us to come to Radha Gopinath, so we'll be having kirtan there tomorrow night. And then, boom, next day, we go back down to Mauritius to continue the program. So this is probably the one of the shortest interplanetary trips that we've ever made. Very short, but for a good reason, and that is to have the association of Vaishnavas. Nothing, you should be very convinced in your lives that nothing is more wonderful than the association of Vaishnavas. We were reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita recently, and there it was stated that it was speaking about Sukriti, or Punya. And generally, people from, say, Indian culture or some Vedic culture, when they have a conception of Punya, for the most part, they're thinking of doing some pious material deeds in order to receive some pious benefit. Maybe to, call a Panditji and have him do some puja. And because they know if I do something Vedic, some nice result will come. And Krishna encourages that in the Gita. That's like one of the beginning steps that he encourages. He says, yes, there are rituals, do rituals. Rituals are sort of like the beginning, they're not the end. But when most people think of punya, piety, they think, some karmakandic type activity. But Prabhupada was quoting Srila Bhaktivinoda, and he said there are different types of punya. And one variety of punya is called bhogamukhi, which means if you do this type of punya, you'll get bhog. You'll get some material gratification. And then there's another type of punya which is called mokshamukhi. If you do that, you'll get moksha. And then there's another which is like bhakti mukti, or bhakti punya, which is called agyata sukriti. Agyata meaning unknown, that we do. Perhaps we're walking down Young Street, we hear a Harinam. Or somebody walks up and puts a book in our hand. Or somebody gives us a piece of prasad. We don't know what it is, but we take it anyhow. Or, somebody asks us for a donation for the cows, and we give a donation for the cows. We don't know that it's for Krishna's cows. But Srila Bhaktivinoda says that when a person's term of material existence begins to diminish, then that bhakti sukriti brings them into the sangha of Vaishnavas. And in Vaishnava sangha, everything becomes open for the living being. One will start to hear instructions about Krishna. One will come to understand who is Krishna. One will understand that we have a relationship with Krishna, and that relationship can be awakened through loving devotion. If we come into the Sangha of Vaishnavas, we learn about Harinam. And when we begin to chant Harinam, we see that Harinam is the greatest and the sweetest gift that we could ever receive in any of our lifetimes. So it may seem a little bit crazy to fly from one side of the world to the other side of the world, to participate in programs for 2 days. But when we're here, we get the association of Vaishnavas. And for us, that is a very wonderful blessing Prabhupada always taught us the line from JUNE14.2024, where he says, Tadara Charana Seva Bhakta Sanivas, Janame Janami Hoy, Yadavas. It is my only desire is to have the association of the Vaishnavas birth after birth and serve their lotus feet. And perhaps you've heard me tell this story before because I've probably told it 10 million times in my life. But in 1977, when Srila Prabhupada was extremely, extremely ill, and just laying on his bed in Vrindavan, I was the cook. And in Vrindavan at that time, there was no gas bottle, there was nothing like that. We just cooked on wood. And after a day of cooking on wood and, dealing with picking up pots that were black from soot, and I would start my cooking after Mangalartik and I would finish at 3 in the afternoon. And I would walk out of the kitchen, I'd be black like soot also. So I would go up to the Brahmachari ashram, and I'd grab a brush, and I'd grab a bar of Nirmal soap, and I would rub the brush and I would scrub myself till I became white again. And then I would put on my clothes and I'd go to Prabhupada's room. And I would sit in Prabhupada's room. In the beginning of the movement, Prabhupada's door was always open. When Prabhupada was in world Acharya traveling, the door was closed. And it was difficult to get an appointment. In the end, the door was open again all the time. So we could just go in at any time. And so I went over to Prabhupada's house, and Prabhupada's godbrother, Srila Akinchana Krishnadas Baba, who Prabhupada loved very, very much, and he loved Prabhupada very much. He was pacing outside of Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada's room had a lock on it that day. I saw the lock and I thought, perhaps today he's not having a good day. But I turned around and Babaji Maharaj was pacing back and forth. Babaji Maharaj was Prabhupada's age. He was very spry. And I knew who he was. So I went and I made dandavats. And I took dust from his lotus feet, and I said, Babaji Maharaj, what service may I do for you? And he said, I want to see Prabhupada immediately. So I said, okay. So I knew that there was a guest house entry in Prabhupada's garden and then into Prabhupada's room. So I went through there and I ran into Prabhupada's room, offered my obeisances, and I looked up, Prabhupada's laying on his bed, Tamal Krishna Maharaj is sitting next to him. And I went to Tamal Krishna Maharaj and I said, Kinchana Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj wants to see Prabhupada immediately. So then he leaned over to Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, Kinchana Krishna Das Babaji wants to see you immediately. And Prabhupada looked up and said, bring him immediately. So I ran out and I got Prabhupada. I got Babaji Maharaj. Brought him in. Tamal Krishna Maharaj jumped off the bed. And Prabhupada popped up on the, Babaji Maharaj popped up on the bed. And then I was right at the headboard of Prabhupada's bed. And I was looking and I was thinking, this is a great opportunity because now I'm seeing two Paramahamsas together and I'm going to see what goes on between these two Paramahamsas. And what happened is they started cracking jokes with one another. And Babaji Maharaj would crack a joke and Prabhupada go, and then Prabhupada would say something, crack a joke, and Babaji Maharaj would go, Babaji Maharaj cracked another joke. then Babaji Maharaj, he said something to Prabhupada. Prabhupada went, And then he said, Tadira charana seva bhakta sanivas janame janami hoy yasivas. And then Babaji Maharaj, he paused for a minute, and he cracked another joke. Prabhupada started laughing, Prabhupada cracked a joke, and then Babaji Maharaj started laughing. And then Babaji Maharaj said something, and Prabhupada went, Tadira charana seva bhakta sanivas janame janami hoy. So I could say, I said, Krishna, this is the lesson that you wanted to teach me today. You know, to always be in the Sangha of the Vaishnavas, birth after birth, and engage in the service of their lotus feet. So it's really such a wonderful thing to be in Vaishnava Sangha. It's very purifying, it's very enlightening, it's very reassuring, it's very uplifting. It's such a wonderful situation for us to be. And then to be not only in association, but then if we can do seva, then that becomes more wonderful. And in the Gita, Krishna tells us we should try to find like some very good and some very exalted Vaishnavas in life. He says, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti tat jnanam jnaninastatta darshana. He says, you should try to find a person who understands the truth. And when you approach that person, first thing is you should be very humble. And then you should do some seva. And then if you're humble and if you do seva, then that Vaishnava, then he says prashna. Then you can ask questions. And because you've been humble and you've done seva, then that Vaishnava will open up his treasure heart, or treasure box, his treasure house, which is his heart. Like some people, they have lots of diamonds. And so they'll keep those diamonds locked away someplace very carefully, or they have lots of gold, and they'll keep that gold locked up someplace very carefully. But a sadhu, his heart is his treasure house. And if we approach sadhus nicely, and if we approach advanced Vaishnavas nicely, then they open their treasure box and they share with us their secrets. It's like one time in Vrindavan many years ago, I had the association of one very old sadhu. He was such a wonderful Vaishnava. And I would associate, and I always tried to do something. If I was abroad, I always brought him some gift. And if I was in Vrindavan, I would always try to go to his room and maybe clean something. I always tried to do something. And then he would give some talk. And then when everybody else left, I would still hang around and I would ask questions. And I remember him telling me two things. One time he looked at me and he said, "Do you know what you are?" And I said, "What?" He said, "You're nothing but a bag of prashna." I took that as a sweet slap. And then he said, it is good that you're asking questions. He said, but in 2 questions, you cannot expect that you'll understand what I've understood in doing sadhana bhakti for over 50 years. But still in Vaishnava Sangha, we ask questions. And I think that in the 19th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it says, seek and ye shall find. That's in the 19th chapter, right? Oh, there's not a 19th chapter? I read the wrong book. I think that's from the Bible. Seek and ye shall find. So, yes, if we seek mercy in the Sangha of Vaishnavas, Krishna will reciprocate nicely, and he will give mercy. When Krishna sees that we're eager for Vaishnava association, Krishna will reciprocate. So I'm happy to be here in all of your association. For me, it's a blessing. If you see me looking a little like that over the next few days, just be mindful that we just came from the bottom of the earth. And then very shortly we'll be going back down to the bottom of the earth. But I'm very happy to be here. Yogi and Ananda, they're very happy to be here. And they feel a little tired also, but I think it's natural. This island of Mauritius, if you ever have a chance, you should go there. So many nice devotees, but you know, if you need a break from your work, if you need some time for relaxation, it's a beautiful place to go. It's very beautiful. They have beautiful beaches, and you know, there's nothing dangerous in Mauritius. Like the most ferocious animal that you'll find in Mauritius is maybe a dog. They don't have bad snakes, they don't have weird bugs, they don't have anything over there. You know, it's just sort of like paradise. And everybody has read Mark Twain, and Mark Twain, he said, he wrote, because he went to Mauritius, and he said, God first created Mauritius. He said, and then when he saw Mauritius, and he got all of his good ideas figured out, only then he created heaven. And I guess you can see from Sundar Chaitanya Maharaj's association that the people who come from there are very heavenly and very sweet and very kind and delicious. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. And the devotees, they're preaching nicely. Just next to Mauritius, there's an island called Réunion, and it's France. Even though it's way down there in the Indian Ocean, it's purely France. If you go there, you use euros. And they have another little island nearby, it's called Rodrigues. And I think it's just kind of developing now. And then they're not far from the second largest island nation in the world, which is Madagascar. And just when I was leaving, one nice devotee from Mauritius named Brajendra Nandan, he was leaving for Mauritius to start working on establishing legal papers to establish ISKCON in Madagascar. So you can go to Madagascar also, although maybe if you go to the inlands of Madagascar, they may invite you for lunch, and you'll be the lunch. preaching is going on beautifully down there. I served down there for some time. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami has been serving down there for many, many years. And His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he went there for so many years, and he has so many wonderful disciples there. His Holiness Lokanath, Swami Maharaj, many disciples there. His Holiness Yogendra Maharaj preaches there. And while our Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj was still in this world, he used to go there and preach. So, visit sometime. Go down with Sundar Chaitanya Maharaj and join his Sankirtan party. And I think you're from Roseville, right? Or you had a center in Roseville?
Yes, Maharaj. Opened one center in Roseville.
Yeah. Sundar Chaitanya Maharaj established a center in Roseville. Roseville is where Srila Prabhupada preached when he came to Mauritius. It's a very special place. So we're happy to be here. Maybe a little tired, but very, very happy, and we're glad to see everyone. I see faces that I saw last year. Please don't expect me to remember names. I'm beyond the point in life where I can remember names. I remember faces, but I don't remember names. And I used to feel very shy about it, but I'm not shy about it anymore. It's great to see all of you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Vrinda Govinda Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Veda Gora Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Premanand.
We'll head up to 10 now.
Okay, let's go. Could I have something to drink?